Welcome to Unfiltered with Amber, my brand new podcast coming at you guys. Real hot, real unfiltered, real chaotic. We already filmed and it did not go as planned. There was a lot of, I don't know what going on, but it just didn't work properly. But now we have the proper setup and we have things running. So, anyways, welcome to the first episode. My name is Amber and I'm super excited to have you here today. If you know me, you know that my normal content that I am posting on social media is usually entrepreneurship, business related content, very professional. Not very professional, but majority of the content that I'm posting is business related topics. I'm talking about marketing, sales strategies, social media, content creation, things like that. So it's more, business related topics, professional topics. Where here, the podcast, I wanted to do something a little bit more different, exciting, unfiltered, like the name of the show, and just show you a little bit more of my personality that isn't just all about business and work and money and financial freedom and whatever, building a business and scaling. I wanted to do something more exciting. Not that that isn't exciting, but something a little bit different. So this podcast is going to be honestly just like conversational, very raw, really vulnerable topics. We'll be talking about all sorts of things related to, current events, controversial topics, random things that come up into my mind. I'm also going to have guest speakers come in and talk about, exciting things. They're going to be really great speakers that you guys are going to be super excited to hear. And it's just going to be a grand old time. So you guys can listen to this during your workouts, while you're driving your car to work, when you're getting ready in the morning, with your girlfriends, when you guys are hanging out, whatever you're doing. It's just going to be a fun time, very chill, very laid back, and different than the usual. So if you're watching this on YouTube, I do have my laptop pulled up. If you're not and just listening, I guess it doesn't really make a difference, but I have my laptop pulled up because normally when people are doing a podcast, I did a ton of research. They have like producers who write all the creativity behind it. But for me, I don't really want to do that. I mean, I'm obviously not at the stage of having a producer. This is my first episode, but I wanted to make it just me and super real and raw. So I did ask chat a little bit about what should I put into, the first episode. And I have a little bit of an outline here. Totally haven't been following it whatsoever, but it's fine. We're just going to kind of ramble on here. Basically, this, podcast is going to be very random right now, but we'll get the hang of it and kind of see what you guys like and go from there. But anyways, to tell you guys a little bit about who I am briefly before I get into it, if you don't know who I already am, like I said, my name is Amber, and as far as my career side of things, like I mentioned, I do business coaching and consulting. So basically, I work with a lot of business owners, entrepreneurs to help them scale their businesses through social media, building a really powerful brand on social media, doing organic marketing, mastering sales and systems and processes and all of that type of stuff. So that's kind of the main thing that I do, but I also do a lot of other things. I do public speaking where I go in and talk about topics on stage related to, again, social media, sales, marketing, but also sometimes motivational topics, faith related, whatever it really is. That's a big portion of my career as well. I also host events. I actually host the #1 women's conference in Illinois. So if you guys have heard of the Sisterhood Conference, I started that about 4 years back now. This year is actually going to be our 5th annual conference, which is crazy. So super excited for that. But anyways, those are just a little bit of the things I do. But I also I just do things like that and content creation and whatnot. And now I'm starting a podcast. I'm going to figure out how to monetize it. And it's just going to be a fun time. Okay. It's not all about monetizing, but eventually that would be the goal. I'm being real and unfiltered. Yes, it's for fun, but if it can make me money while I'm having fun, why not? All right. And if you got a problem with that, then so be it. Okay. So now that you know a little bit about who I am, I wanted to cover some random things. A lot of the times I get the question about how I'm so driven and disciplined. And I think sometimes people confuse the difference between motivation and discipline and being driven. And motivation is something that I don't consistently have. Nobody is always motivated. Yes, when I show up online, I show up very positive. I try to be very uplifting and exciting and come on there when I am in the mood to come on to social media and be seen on camera, right? But I'm not always feeling that way. A lot of the times, like 99% of my life, I am very tired. I am always in pain. My stomach's hurting, my head's hurting, my knees are hurting, my fingers are hurting, everything's hurting. I'm only 25 and everything hurts. So like, that's usually my life, but it's all right. But I think a big reason of why I am so disciplined is because I have really big, audacious goals in my life. And my goals, they're not just like big goals, but I have intrinsic meaning behind my goals. So I have a reasoning behind why I want to accomplish those goals. It's not just, oh, I want to, for example, write a best-selling book, right? It's like there's a reason of why I want to do that. So for example, I did write a best-selling book when I was 20 years old. And I wanted to write that book because I wanted to make a huge difference in people's lives, because I was going through a time in my life where there was a lot of, so the name of the book is called Finding Your Fit, A Guide to Living Your Best Life. And prior to doing business coaching and everything I'm doing, I was actually a fitness coach. And I started doing that at a really young age, around like 17, 18 years old. And then in 2020, when I turned 20, I ended up getting diagnosed with stage 4 endometriosis. Not going to go into the whole story about that. Maybe I can make another episode if anyone's interested, because I do have a lot of knowledge on endometriosis. And I know some of you guys DM me and are very interested, and I have really good resources and information that could definitely help you, and I'd love to. So anyways, off topic, but I was dealing with that, and I ended up having a surgery for that, illness or sickness or whatever you want to call it. And from there, I ended up writing up that book during recovery. I wrote it in 2 weeks. I was so bored, but besides that, I wrote that book because prior to that, I thought being fit meant being physically fit. And then I realized when I was going through all these health issues and everything that being fit wasn't just about your physical appearance. It was about the 5 dimensions of wellness, which are the 5 chapters in the book. So physical, yes, of course, but also your mental, emotional, spiritual, and social, and how to master all 5 to live a well-rounded, quote unquote, fit life. So being fit is essentially all of those, right? So I wanted to show the world that like finding your fit, everyone saw me as like the fit girl online at that time. So I wanted to show people like, get this book. Maybe you think it's about fitness, but when you read it, you're going to realize it's not always just about your physical appearance. It's about so many other things in your life that matter. So I had like a meaning behind this. Moral of the story, why I'm telling you guys this is I wasn't just motivated. At that time, I was probably the least motivated in my life because I was going through so many health struggles and I didn't feel capable of a lot of things, but I had the time and I used that as like, okay, this is the time. Now let me sit down and like be disciplined enough to write this book so I can put it out there and change lives and show people that being fit isn't just about your physical appearance. So anyways, that's why I would say I am disciplined and driven, because I have intrinsic meaning behind most of my goals and stuff. But that doesn't mean that I'm not tired and unmotivated, because a lot of the times I am. So that's that. Another question I get asked a lot is about like success and how I've reached a lot of success at a young age. And I personally don't really agree with that. I think I have accomplished a lot at a young age, but I don't think that I've reached a lot of success necessarily. I mean, it depends how you define success, but I definitely obviously want to accomplish more. And as you guys can probably notice when I'm talking, I'm just a very driven person who wants to do more and more and accomplish more in life. So I think that as far as like the success portion, when people say that, I've definitely accomplished a lot, but a lot of the times I'm very confused as I'm doing things. Like I have no idea what I'm doing half the time. For example, this podcast, I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm kind of confused. I don't know what people want to hear about. I don't know if these topics are even relevant or what I'm doing. When I wrote the book, I didn't really know what I was doing. When I host events, half the time, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. Like I just go about it. And I think that is what makes me quote unquote successful or able to accomplish these big things, because I just kind of go at it without really having any direction. I mean, I have direction and I know what I want out of it. So I don't want you guys to think, oh, she's just like a dumb, I'm not blonde, but like, you know what I mean? Like a dumb blonde going at it. Like that's not me. I would say I'm very educated and smart and knowledgeable, but like some of the times you don't really know what you're doing and you're confused, and it's okay. And I think a lot of the times when people are successful, they don't admit that. They're just like, I have it all together. But I will be the first to tell you I do not have it all together. And yeah, that's kind of that. So yeah. Another thing is also a big portion of my life is very faith-based. So a lot of the things that I do in my life are driven from faith and also being like a God-fearing woman. I try to do that every single day. I try to lead with, that in mind. But again, I am human and all of you guys are as well. So if you are like working towards a faith-based life, hopefully, and if you are, I think that it's important to just give yourself grace and realize that you're human. You're also going to make mistakes. You're going to sin. You're going to fall off. You're going to maybe go into bad habits and things like that. But it's okay. Just remember at the end of the day, like your purpose and keeping that faith in mind during all of it. So, anyways, those were some of the things that people think about me, like when they think of my name. So, those are the things that I wanted to kind of contradict. Like, okay, yes, I am driven, but I'm also like lazy and tired a lot of the times. Not necessarily lazy, but like tired and out of it a lot of times. Yes, maybe you may think I'm successful, but also half the time I don't know what the heck I'm doing. You may think that I have like a very faith-driven mindset, and I do, but also I am human and I make a lot of mistakes in my life. And that's all just, part of being unfiltered. That's the name of the podcast once again. All right. So that goes over that. But anyways, I don't really know like the direction of the podcast that I want to take. I just kind of wanted to go about it and, have fun with it. But I think I'll probably I did ask a Q&A on Instagram. So I wanted to keep the first episode kind of short, just give you guys a little glimpse of who I am. But I did ask a Q&A on Instagram the other day. It was called Ask Amber Anything. And I asked you guys to ask me some questions. So maybe I'll answer some of those right now. I have them on my phone. So let me pull them up. And I think I want to do this like every week. My goal is to upload an episode every single week. We'll see how that goes. I said it out loud, so now I'm probably going to have to do it. Maybe I shouldn't have said it, but like I said, when I set my mind to something, I want to do it. So I would like to post, whatever it's called, upload a video, a podcast every single week. So I will also post and Ask Amber Anything on my stories on social media, on Instagram specifically. So you guys can ask me questions on there and then I'll answer them in the live podcast. So that's a good way that we can connect. And also you guys can send me some questions that you want answered on the podcast. All right. Anyways, I hope that made sense. Okay. So let's go through some of the questions. A lot of my people on social media know me as like a business owner though. So some of them may be more business focused, but as this podcast grows and evolves, hopefully you guys can ask me more like random questions. So we'll kind of like rapid fire through these. Favorite part of being an entrepreneur? Definitely this, like being able to have the freedom to do whatever you want, whenever you want, however you want. I think that's really exciting and fun. So I just like being able to be my own boss, work my own hours. I can be very creative. I'm a very creative person, so I like to try different things and whatnot. So I like the fact that I can have like a lot of opportunities and I don't have to stick to like one path. I can change things up and do different things. And we live in such a great time where being an entrepreneur, it could literally be like you could be baking all day long and make that your job, or you could be talking to a camera all day and getting paid for it, So it's like, I don't know. I just think that my favorite part is just like the freedom that comes with it. So that is cool. Let's see what else. What do we got here? Favorite food? My favorite food is definitely, let's see. This one's hard. I would like to say that my favorite food is like a nice protein-filled diet with high protein, low carbs. That's what I'd like to say, but honestly, my favorite food is probably like everything. I love pizza is really good, like a good pizza, like a real Italian pizza. Is pizza Italian? I think. So like, yeah, that pasta's Italian as well. Tacos, but like the taco has to be from Mexico, not from the US. So that. I love ribs. I don't eat pork, but like beef ribs are really good. I I'm a foodie at heart, so honestly, I just love like all food besides pork because I don't eat pork. Let's see what else. Although, crazy story, one of my favorite restaurants, I used to order this meal. Okay, it was like the bolognese or whatever, however you say it. Bolognese pasta, something. I don't even remember because I don't order it anymore, clearly because they scammed me. They literally knew that I only eat halal food and I don't eat, well, like halal meaning like I don't eat pork. Okay, I don't eat pork. And I thought like the crumbled stuff on there was beef. And I found out later that it was pork or whatever, it was pig. And I don't know how because they knew that I don't. Like the restaurant, like we know the owners, so they knew that I don't eat that. And then randomly one day, one of the waiters told me like, "Oh, like, are you sure you want to order that? That has pork in it." I'm like, "I order that every time I'm here, and it's delicious." And like they never told me that. And he's like, "Well, it's always been that way." So I don't know. I like to like tell myself that it wasn't always pork, but I'm so glad that that waiter told me. And after that, I think they fired the chef, actually. So, yeah. Anyways, that was really depressing. So now like every time I go there, I don't know what to order. But yeah, don't tell my parents. They would kill me if they found out that I was eating pork. Literally. I repented, obviously, and like I didn't know I was eating it. So like God knows my intention, so he knows that I wasn't meaning to eat it. But I did like pray about it afterwards because I was really like, I literally was like, I need to throw up. Like, what? But it was like, I ate this food months ago for like the past year. So it's in my system, I think, or it's not because it's out of my system because it's so long ago. I don't know. Whatever. But like, that was wild. Crazy story time. What else do we have here? How have you grown into your personal style? I love this question. I like growing up wanted to be a fashion designer for so long. I wanted to be everything. Okay. I wanted to be a fashion designer. I wanted to be a hairstylist. I wanted to be, what else did I want to be? A lawyer. I wanted to be never a teacher, never a doctor. But besides that, I probably wanted to be everything else. A gymnast, professional, almost made it, but didn't. So anyways, how have I grown into my personal style? I kind of dress however I want. Like I just wear what my mood is. It really does depend on my mood. Majority of the time I'm in sweats and like a comfy cozy outfit because I love that feeling. And I know they say you should like dress up to feel your best, but I feel my best in a comfy sweatsuit. It's got to be a cute sweatsuit, but like, you know, I think that I can pull it off even if it's not cute. I can like style it. I put like jewelry and like add my own touch to it and curl my hair and whatever. So like my personal self makes the clothes great. Was that like not humble? Maybe that was rude to say. Not rude, but like weird. I don't know. I feel like it's like easy for me to pull things off if like you're confident and like you show up a way, then you can kind of wear whatever. But this is not answering the question. My personal style, how has it grown? I think over time, like when I was younger, I used to just go off of trends and what was everyone wearing. And I think now as I've gotten older, I don't care about the trends because they come and go. And also half the time the trends are freaking hideous. And also everyone's dressing the same and I don't want to dress the same as everyone. So I think I just found things that are like timeless. For example, I'm wearing a cashmere sweater right now, 100% cashmere. It is, it really is, but timeless. You know what I mean? And like Target jeans, timeless. How could it get any better than that? I don't know. Whatever. I really like Victoria Beckham style and I'd love to like dress like her if I could, but I don't have a closet like her. She's also like a designer. But I like that style, like very like classy and like, what is it called? Like old money vibes. I like that. Anyways, how do you know, or do you think you'll know when you've had quote unquote enough success? I think this depends on like what your definition of success is. And I think I mentioned this earlier, but like your definition of success, if it's money, like monetary, then like, will you know if you've had enough success? I think, yeah, in a way, but also the more money you're making, the more your lifestyle changes and as more like expensive taste. Obviously, if you're making more money, you're going to be living in like probably a better house, driving better cars, having more vacations and better food and better whatever. You know what I mean? So obviously you're equipped to a certain lifestyle if you're making a certain amount of money. So I think that like for a person like me, like the more money I make, the more my lifestyle will change to adapt to that, which will then make me want to continue earning more. So will I think that I've reached success? Maybe in a way, but also I'll still want more. But not for everyone. Some people are like, okay, I've made X amount and now I'm like content and good and great for those people. But I don't think I'm personally that type of person. Kind of wish I was, but I don't think I am. I think I always constantly want more. And I think also for me, like success, there's so many other things with success. It's not just like money, like I said. There's another version of success. Like, okay, maybe financially I've reached success, but have I reached success in like my career and what I wanted to do on earth, like giving back to charity? Have I done as much? Have I given back to my parents? Have I, traveled the world and done certain things? I don't know. Like, I'm just listing things, but like accomplishing those things can also be success in a way in certain stuff and like accomplishing those goals. So I think it just depends per person. But will I ever like know when I've had enough success? I don't know. Will you? Answer that yourself. All right, let's see. Okay. If you had to pick between entrepreneur and no money or having a decent salary but working 80 hours a week, what would you do? That's a great question. I think for me, obviously you need money to survive. Like you need money to pay your bills, you need money to transport from place to place, even if you don't have a car. Like the train costs money too, so does the CTA. Like you still need money. And yeah, I know what the CTA is because I lived in the city and I used to take the CTA. Chicago Transport. Shoot, I don't know what it means. City Transport something. Whatever. Is the CTA in more places than Chicago? I don't know. Okay, whatever. I clearly am so out of touch with reality. I drive a car. I drive my own car. I don't have a driver. Don't worry. So it's like, we're all good here. But anyways, yeah, you still need money to be on these things, right? Like whether it's the CTA, the red line, brown line, the train, the Metra, whatever you're taking, or putting gas in your own vehicle, right? So like, or to have a home to live in or pay for food, like you still need money. So I don't really know how to answer this question, but I definitely think that like I would prefer being an entrepreneur, but obviously I need to be earning income. So like I guess just having the job, but I would still be an entrepreneur in some way, like maybe starting a side business or whatever and doing things for fun to like be able to do it because I am a creative and I don't think I could like survive just having a 9 to 5 personally. I know some people can and that's great for them, but for me, I feel like I would have to find like a passion project or something, or like maybe even like charity work or getting really involved in like a community or something. I don't know. I think I would still have to find ways to like feel fulfilled in other ways, not just my work then. But I think as an entrepreneur, I do feel fulfilled because I can do things as an entrepreneur that fulfill those other areas that are creativity, giving back, and whatever, stuff like that. So I hope that answers the question. All right, let's just do one more. What is your American dream? All right, like I said, we did film this episode and then it didn't go well. And then we're refilming now. So I've already read some of these questions. Maybe I'm not supposed to say that. But again, this is unfiltered. So whatever, I'm going to be honest with you guys. We recorded this and now it's like I'm thinking of what I said, but I also want to keep it real with you guys and not just like say what I said. But anyways, what is your American dream? Prior, I was like thinking, I'm like, I'm an American. So can I have an American dream? Like I was born here. So like, I don't really know. But then like when I talked about it after this, the first step, like when we first filmed it, it's like, what is your definition of an American dream? I think is what the question meant to be. So my definition is, I think like for example, my grandparents came to America as immigrants and so did my mom. My dad was born here in America, but like I have family who came as immigrants. I think everyone does. Like everyone immigrated here, right? Like nobody was born here. I mean, I was born here. Okay, I don't mean nobody was born here, but obviously, like, all right, clearly I don't know what I'm talking about. But you know what I mean? Like, obviously, everyone has ancestors who were born somewhere else, not like, oh, I'm only from America. Like, people have people from like Ireland and Germany and like, I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but you get my point, I hope. And if not, whatever, don't make fun of me. So, anyways, the American dream, the definition, I think, is coming to America and like, or being in America and like having freedom, freedom of speech, freedom of, I'm reading the Constitution. Is this the Constitution? Freedom of speech, freedom of our rights as like an American citizen, freedom. I think that is the main thing. Freedom of like religion as well, being able to feel safe, feel secure, have a lot of opportunities as well. Is America like that now? I mean, yes, I still believe that America is a great place to live. And would I want to live anywhere else? Probably not. But as of now, I enjoy being an American. I'm proud to be an American, but I do think that it's not as great as like maybe it could be, but that's like anywhere. So like that's kind of anywhere. I don't know. American dream anyways is like having freedom, which I do as an entrepreneur, having a lot of opportunities. I do. So like I can't complain. I think I'm living the American dream, to be honest, guys. So what is your American dream? My life. My life is the American dream. For me. Maybe not for you. But anyways, that's kind of that. There's a bunch more questions, but I think I'm gonna wrap it up at that. I don't want to make this episode too long. This just gives you a little bit of a hint, a glimpse of who I am, what I'm gonna be talking about, a little bit delusional, a little bit crazy, a little bit all over the place, but we'll get the gist of it and we'll kind of just go through this together. And I think it'll be really fun. But like I said, I will be posting an Ask Amber Anything in my Instagram every single week. So you guys can go and ask me questions or feel free to DM me questions that you want on the podcast. And I'll definitely try to answer them. And yeah, I'm just super excited to be doing this, to be putting together this podcast and just being real, showing a different side of my personality. Hopefully you enjoy it. And if you don't, then subscribe either way. And I think they subscribe. Is that what you do for podcasts? Yeah, I think so. Anyways, all right. Thanks for watching, listening, whatever, to the Unfiltered with Amber. Bye.